Let's make some noise. Come on.
Oh, yes. Nick Foles in the house. Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles. Let's make some noise. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're staying warm. Good Lord, it's cold outside. Welcome back to the Final Word here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Your boy MattyB on the call on our Sunday night, beginning of our broadcast week edition. Welcome back to another, hopefully, productive week of sports entertainment talk. Yes, and let's start something new. I'm going to start being more controversial on this show. I'm not going to be as soft as I've been in the past. I'm going to ratchet up the controversy. Yeah, I'm going to try something new. Welcome, everybody. It's good to be back with you for another week. Joe House says, what's going on? Can we get prayers for Ricky? What is going on with Ricky there, Joe Hale? Why are we giving prayers to Ricky? Is there something we need to know? Please, if you want to tell me off the air, you can. Please inform me what's going on. But yeah, we're back. And it's kind of weird today. We're not talking Eagles football. We're not talking about Phillies baseball. And we're not talking about a Flyers game. None of that happened today. This is the first Sunday of about how many? What's the exact number? I don't know, like 40 of no Eagles football. Of course, we are still a little bit outside of the window on baseball. And, of course, the Flyers went out on Saturday and got blown out, so they didn't have to play today. They already performed enough yesterday. So nothing really happening on the local scene, but we definitely have some NFL stuff to get through. A bunch of really good games this weekend, as we have three of the AFC matchup is set for the championship game, and the NFC matchup is ongoing right now, and we'll get into some of that tonight. As again, very entertaining games over the weekend, and I want to ask this question right off the bat as we start dissecting some of the games. In what you saw yesterday and what you've seen so far today from the NFL, do any of those, would the Eagles stand a chance against any of that, of what we witnessed, with maybe the exception of the 49ers, which, of course, we already proved we can't beat them. But could the Eagles have stood a chance against any of the action that we saw over the weekend? And I think the question is a pretty easy one to answer. Joe says he had surgery on Saturday. Well, yeah, absolutely. Prayers and thoughts for Ricky Deal as he had surgery on Saturday. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. No one tells me anything. But if you talk to Ricky, Joe, please pass it along to him that obviously I'm thinking about him. I always think about Ricky. Now, of course, on the other side of the sports spectrum, are Phillies. Yeah, I know. I was on the Philly Friday Homer Finanza show, whatever he calls that thing, on Friday nights with Big Al, and he and I had the opportunity to sort of break or sort of kind of react to the Bo Bichette news. Of course, it happens on a day that I don't have a show, so I've had an opportunity over the past 2 days to let that sort of sink in, and I'm gonna give you my 2 cents worth, and you might be surprised by my stance on this and my take on this. It's kind of double-edged, actually, but we'll talk Bo Bichette and we'll talk what's next. We'll definitely do that. We may go through some hot stove takes because another big move was made over the weekend. We're reporting it on this program Thursday night. Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers. There was a trade over the weekend it's got some minor ramifications for some other teams, not major, not earth-shattering. And we're getting closer and closer to the start of spring training. And the eternal question in baseball, should there be a cap or shouldn't there be a cap? So we might get into all that too. Our day in Philadelphia sports history, our card review, and our of the night segment, as we have come to the end of Flyers prospect breakdowns tonight. Tonight will be my last Flyer prospect, unless, of course, they acquire any more, and they probably will. As we start trading people away, because it's heading for that direction. It might be this season, but as of tonight, once we do our last one that I have scheduled here, that's it, man. I've done completely through the entire list of Flyers prospects for the 25-26 season. And then we can start concentrating on NHL draft prospects. And now that we have somewhat of a baseball team to talk about, because, we got our starting catcher back, we can start breaking down some Phillies players, some spotlight segments this week as well. On the Phillies as we get ready for the baseball season. It's kind of late in the year for me to be doing that. I usually am spotlighting Phillies players by now, like maybe a week or so. So I'm a little off kilter, and that's, of course, because of the off season, but we're going to get it started this week. And we're also talking about introducing a new segment to the show, at least for the first couple weeks of the Eagles off season, as now we're going to start looking at sort of, the obituary here. We're going to start talking about what, where we stand and what our needs are and where should we go. We're going to start throwing erroneous grades on things. Who stays? Who goes? What were the big storylines of the 2025 Eagles? So we're going to start that segment this week as well. We should have some fun with it. And whatever else is on your mind on this cold ass Sunday night here in the Delaware Valley. Let me remind everybody here that this is our schedule on the network this week. This will become public in the morning. I'm feeling the effects of the Eagles and Steelers seasons both being over, as we have lost like 5 shows because of that. No more Steel City Sunday. No more Birds Flyby. No more Steel City the pre and post game show. That's 2 shows. You got the Birds Flyby is 3. The Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn, even though we have one more episode left, which we'll show you on the Thursday after the Super Bowl. But for the most part, that show has been wrapped up for the year as well. Of course, we've already lost Happy Valley Huddle. We've lost a lot over these last few weeks as we enter the dead time before the fun time of the spring and summer. So you got to cut the cure, as I always say, and we're moving in that direction. So this is your schedule for the week. Tomorrow, you got the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight program. Monday is Final Word with me and some Flyers Nights postgame. So it'll be a late night duties on the network tomorrow, as I will have you both on the Final Word, and I will have you coming back later on that evening. Flyers Gold Knights, as they start their desert mountain trip that will take them to Vegas, Utah, and Colorado this week. I have you for Vegas and Utah, and Mike will have you for the Avs, but this is what you have to look forward to tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, it's the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight program, Props, Locks, and Parlay in the Final Word. And I think that we are doing this Pittsburgh Sports Tonight tomorrow. Yeah, I think we are. On Wednesday, it's the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. Maybe that's where I got confused. Too many Pittsburgh sports stuff. Too much of that starting out the same words. Final Word, and then some Clear the Ice. Gridiron Weekly in the Final Word. Philly Friday Frenzy, Flyers and Avs postgame. The best of the week of the It's a Wrap Sports on Saturday, and then we do it all over again on Sunday. So there it is. There's your weekend review or weekend glance here on the network. Can't wait. Get another week going. Bump Bo Bichette, a snake in the grass. Kaepernick sounds like he's got some sort of personal issues with the Bo Bichette situation. And we're going to get into Bo Bichette because I definitely want to hear everyone's opinion on that. And I will open the phone lines so you guys can express your opinions if you want. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. What allegiance does Bo Bichette have to the Phillies? All right. Bo Bichette has the same allegiance that everybody else does, to include Bryce Harper, Jalen Hurts, all of them. And that is to the almighty dollar. And at the end of the day, his agent did what he was supposed to do. Got his client the best deal. 100%. There's no allegiance. There's no honor amongst thieves. Come on. Kaepernick, these days of thinking that players want to go to places because of winning? Come on now. Money trumps trophies. It does. I don't like it either, but it does. Just like this thinking that JT Realmuto was going to take a hometown discount. Kyle Schwarber was going to take a hometown discount to come back here. No. No. If you should be mad at somebody, be mad at JT Realmuto. He was the snake in the grass. He was the one lying in wait, waiting for something like this to happen so he could take advantage of it. Come on, man. I'm not going to play that here. I disagree with that. Bo Bichette did what Bo Bichette wanted to do, and that is got paid. The best deal he possibly could find. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, I'm going to get into all the Bo Bichette stuff. All of it. We're going to recap the timeline. We're going to go through all of that. And most importantly, we're going to talk about, are we better off? Are we worse? Are we the same? Because I think we've lost sight of some things throughout this whole process. Absolutely think we lost sight. And I know I did. And I'm going to be the first one to admit it. I lost sight. I got sucked into all the hype. Right? And then I felt the same way. I was in a mall on, was it Friday? When the news broke on my phone. And I laughed. I don't know why I laughed. I laughed when I first read that. But I got sucked into. And I know it's the end of the world. The sky is falling. And, of course, it probably doesn't help that it all went down, right after the Eagles and all that. But is it really, though? Is it really the end of the world? But we'll get into that. But I strongly disagree with that statement. He's not a snake in the grass, man. He got paid. Matter of fact, I wish I was him. I wish I could get paid. What is it? What's he getting paid? $42 million a year? Something like that. $24 million a year? And then I can opt out in any one of the 3 years of the contract that I signed? Absolutely. Why would I take a $200 million 7-year contract when I, thinking highly of myself as Bo Bichette, know that I could probably be better? Or that I, as Bo Bichette, maybe not feeling the Mets and not feeling like longevity with the Phillies. Maybe I don't think they're going to be competitive enough in 7 years. Or maybe in 7 years, my piddly $200 million will be dwarfed by somebody else's contract. Kind of probably how Bryce Harper feels these days. Why should I lock myself into that? Now, the Phillies, out of pressing Mattingly's own mouth, they don't do opt-outs. We don't do that. We don't do that type of stuff here. Are the Phillies the ones that are behind the times? And is this an argument towards a salary cap with the lockage, with the work stoppage looming here in about 11 months? I mean, I'm not going to get mad at Bo Bichette. He didn't do nothing to me. Not at all. Matter of fact, I'm jealous of Bo Bichette. Really jealous of him. Oh, man. What's up, Matty? How you doing, Adam? What's going on, man? What is going on? Thank you. Please do. Ricky Deal apparently had surgery on Saturday for everybody out there who's listening. And please send up your thoughts and prayers to him. I don't know what the situation is. But please, Joe, not only send my well wishes along, send everybody's, please. Because I think everybody feels the same way. But all right, let's get into this thing. Let's strap in, strap on, strap it up. Keep your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times. And let's go with your day in Philadelphia sports history on this day back in 2004. Sorry about that. 2004. This was a day that I'll never forget. The Birds lost their third straight. Count them, 3 straight NFC championship games. This time it was to the Carolina Panthers, 14-3. With running back and safety net Brian Westbrook on the sideline, nursing an injury, Donovan McNabb was picked off 4 times. 3 times by cornerback Ricky Manning Jr. Clearly, the Eagles' inferior wide receivers that consisted mainly of James Thrash and Freddie Mitchell were not going to be able to compete because, as we all recall from watching that game, they were thrown around that field like rag dolls. This time, though, head coach Andy Reid got the message loud and clear. Right? There was basically an argument about Andy for a lot of years leading up to this game about the wide receiver problem. You got to get better. You got to get more physical. And obviously Andy listened because this was the offseason in which they added Terrell Owens. And then, of course, you jump in the bed with the devil, you're going to get burned. And that happened. But that was a story for another day. But this day, back in 2003, the Eagles lose to the Panthers 14-3 in the NFC Championship game, their third straight NFC Championship game loss. ushering in the Terrell Owens era and our Super Bowl run the following year, but then everything that came with that after that. So happy third straight NFC Championship game loss day to you from me here at the It's Rap Sports Network. And that segment was brought to you by the good folks who bring you the Philly Friday Frenzy with Big Al Zafiri as he kicks your weekend off, finishes your week, kicks your weekend off, does all those great things on Friday night as Al was crying in his Homerade the other night, boy. Oof. I jumped on just to be a friend, man. I saw another friend in need, and don't ever think that I'm not, don't ever think MattyB doesn't have a heart, because, you know, I saw a friend in need and I jumped on to just pour that salt in that wound, because that's what I do. No, make sure you're checking out Al. So let's get into some baseball. Let's get into some Philly stuff. Let's get into some Bo Bichette. Of course, on Friday, the news broke that Bo Bichette had signed a three-year, was it $42 million? No, $142 million. What was the contract? 3 years. Bo Bichette. I don't know why I can't remember the number, but Bo Bichette signs a 3-year. What is that? Yeah, well, of course, I'm not going to be able to find it because I'm looking for it. When I don't want to find it, it's going to fall right in my lap. So we got a 3-year, was it $126 million contract? God damn. So that works out to about $42 million a year. Now, out of that $126 million, he can actually opt out in any one of those years. So, you know, immediately following the news breaking that Bo Bichette had signed with the Mets, then the news leaked out. Again, where all these leaks come from? You know, where's all this? Was this damage control done by the Phillies to immediately leak out that they had a, in principle, 7-year, $200 million agreement on the table that was being, again, I'm not saying that was agreed upon, but it was being thought over by Bo Bichette. And then he balked on that because of the last minute New York Mets coming in fresh off of losing out on Kyle Tucker and just throwing stupid money at Bo Bichette. And a stupid contract. And what do I mean by that is, of course, stupid good. I am not, again, Papernick said earlier, you know, Bo Bichette the snake in the grass. You know, I'm not going to absolutely say that. And not at all. Not at all. Because in my opinion, Bo Bichette did what Bo Bichette did, man. And his agent deserves a massive raise for getting him the best possible deal. He took a 3-year, $126 million contract where he could opt out literally at any one of the 3 years that he's got. And he left a 7-year, $200 million offer from the Phillies on the table as the Mets came in the last minute with Kyle Tucker, losing out on Kyle Tucker, and made the move. Now, of course, about 20 minutes later, the news broke that the Phillies had signed JT Realmuto to a 3-year, $45 million? No, it was like, why don't I remember any of these numbers? Is that where the $42 million is? Yeah, 3-year, $45 million contract. Essentially giving in to what was probably the sticking point throughout this entire negotiating process with him was the years, right? And I don't think the Phillies wanted to go above 2. JT wanted that 3rd year, and the sides were seemingly like at an impasse for that, right? And that nothing was being done with it as Star Wars chimes in with JT got paid too much. Yeah. From whose point of view? JT got paid great from JT's point of view. We don't think so, because this was a straight panic move by Dave Dombrowski because, oh no, Bo Bichette's gone. We don't have a catcher yet. I got to do something in order to get the dogs off me. And I don't know if, I mean, he's not a stupid man. I don't know what kind of response he thought he was going to elicit from the Phillies fan base when he went immediately after and signed JT to a 3-year, $45 million contract, which in hindsight, honestly, as I sit here, I'm not mad about. I really ain't, because what was the other option? And let's look at this thing from the other point. We signed Bichette. Who's catching for this baseball team next year? And again, I'm going to throw this out at you. I get the semantics and the optics of all this. I understand. It's been a terrible offseason with an obvious theme of running it back. For whatever reason, I think, honestly, not being able to get JT back in the net, which was, I think, their original plan all along. The whole plan from the beginning of this offseason for the Phillies was to bring the band back. Everybody. Right? And when the negotiating with Realmuto stalled out, they had to pivot. They had to find some other way because they had to replace that somehow. And that's when the whole Bo Bichette thing kind of got going. And again, I look at this entire offseason as a misconceived plan to once again run this thing back. And then when it didn't work out, they had Dombrowski pivoted. All right, now we're going to go after Bichette, who's now an option because of the situation in Toronto with them signing the Japanese third baseman. This was something to sort of save Dombrowski's ass to go after Bichette because he wasn't prepared to give 3 years of JT. This has been a nightmare, right? A misguided plan that blew up in Dombrowski's face. He pivots after Bichette. That blows up. Then he goes back to his original plan and overpays for the veteran catcher. It's an absolute nightmare. But are they worse off than they were? And I'm honest about that question. I want to remind everybody, let's take a look at this real quick. This was MattyB's 2026 Phillies conception, right? This is what I was looking at for the Phillies to look like in 2026. You guys remember this graphic from a few months ago? Now, I had 3 key free agent acquisitions in my 2026 Phillies team. Pete Alonso, Kenley Jansen, and Luis Ariz. I never had Bo Bichette come into this baseball team. I don't think any of us had Bo Bichette come into this baseball team. He was never on anybody's radar. It might have been in a passing fancy. But Bo Bichette was not, in my opinion, needed on this baseball team. We need to make some changes because, again, going back to my original concept of going heavy with the youth movement, you got Gabriel Raconis Jr. out there in left. You got Justin Crawford patrolling center field. You got a combination of Otto Kemp, Aiden Miller on third, right? You got Painter. I wanted to infuse young talent into this lineup. I wanted to change the DNA. Remember those days of changing the DNA of this baseball team? Now, I know by running it back, that's not what they were doing. But they might have inadvertently set me up because right now, this configuration, with the exception of Harrison Bader and Pete Alonso, of course, and Kenley Jansen, looks a little bit like what it might look like for the Phillies in 2026 when it's all said and done with. Luis Ariz is still out there as a free agent. He is still affordably out there as a free agent. They could do that move and bring him here on a 2 or 3 year deal at 28 years old. A man who doesn't strike out hardly ever, who puts the ball in play, who is a prototypical number 2 hitter in your lineup. And I think he's a righty as well. He's an above average to an elite level defender. I think a career 302 hitter or something like that. He is a guy that could come here and ratchet down the top of that lineup, ratchet down either second base or third, honestly. And he could provide you that DNA change, especially at the top of that lineup. Because a DNA change of having an actual number 2 hitter and not Kyle Schwarber, well, that's a DNA change. And this lineup still seemingly could work. Again, I got Pete Alonso's not coming here. I understand that, but everything else really, in my opinion, would be saved if they go out and get Ariz. And I want everyone to remember this graphic. And I'm going to show it again in October. And I want to see how actually close I came to this. And maybe that's the plan, right? I mean, they talked about it heading into November. They talked about heading into the offseason. Names were mentioned specifically. Crawford, Miller, Painter, and Rakonis Jr. And then Otto Kemp. All their names were mentioned in the end of season press conference. So maybe Dave was telling us then there is a youth movement ongoing. And that's what they are going to do. But as we sit here now, really at like danger close to the start of the season, what concerns me about this baseball team is we still don't have Nick Castellanos is still part of this organization. Alec Boehm is still here. Luis Ariz is not. So pivot to Luis Ariz. You get him cheap. You can get him real cheap. You can afford him. I don't want Cody Bellinger here. I don't want that because I'm going to get into why I don't want Cody Bellinger here in a second. First of all, I don't need another center fielder. I don't need a center fielder or first baseman. I don't have room for him in either spot. And I don't need another goddamn power hitter. I don't need that, man. Bo Bichette would have been nice. Power, contact, 2-1. Defense is a little sketchy, especially if we were going to have to move him in the third. But I don't need Cody Bellinger. I don't need him here. And this is my last point about this whole thing. And I want to hear your opinions about it. I'm going to open up the phone lines in about 2 minutes. Bo Bichette, right? So with the fact that Boehm, Stott, Castellanos are still here on this baseball team right now, what was the plan when Bo Bichette got here? Right? I mean, if you're Alec Boehm, you're sitting at home, if you're Bryson Stott sitting in Vegas, wherever the hell you're sitting at, and you know openly the Phillies are going after Bo Bichette, what is that saying about your future with the team? And obviously, probably more of Alec Boehm than anybody else's. I mean, you're literally, your job is at stake here. They're bringing in someone to replace you, and they're hard to bring that person in. Right now, they didn't get him. So what do? You didn't want me, so now I'm going to come to camp, and we're going to be like playing like where everything is fine. That you want me here? I mean, think about it. They've almost backed themselves into a corner with Alec Boehm too. Now, again, I don't know how much of the actual visceral venom that Boehm has taken from the actual organization, but how can Alec Boehm go into 2026 thinking, yeah, this is my home? They don't want me here. They obviously don't want me here. So how can you start the season with Alec Boehm on this roster? You can't. You got to move Boehm. They cannot start the season with Alec Boehm here. They've done too much damage to him. They've literally openly recruited his replacement and then have been openly upset now that this replacement did not make it here. So you still got to pivot and get Boehm the hell out of here. Same thing with Castellanos. I know me and Papernick go back and forth on this all the time. But the Phillies literally already signed Castellanos' replacement. Yet he's still here. You cannot go into the season with these two individuals on your baseball team. What kind of cancers are you trying to promote into your locker room if you're going to bring in two guys that you obviously don't want? So there's got to be something else on the way. There's got to be, I think there's at least 3 moves still going to happen to the Phillies between now and the start of the regular season. I'm very, very specific about the timeline here. I still think there's 3 more moves coming. The move to get rid of Boehm, the move to get rid of Castellanos, and the move to bring in Luis Ariz. That's my next 3 moves that are going to happen for this team. They're not done. They can't be done. They cannot be done. There's still too many problems with this team. And overall, as we sit here at the middle point of January, or actually getting into the back end of January, are the Phillies today better, worse, or the same as they were when they walked off the field in Los Angeles in October? They're the same. They're not worse. They're not better, but they're the same. And obviously that's not good enough. So for all the doom and gloom that I'm hearing out there, they're not making the playoffs. And Papernick's part of that crew. Now they're a third place team, which he might be right about that. But the Phillies are a playoff team. They will be a playoff team in 1996. In 2026, they'll be a playoff team. But that's not good enough. And I understand that. There's nobody here that knows that more than I do. That's not good enough. They're still an 85 to 90, 92 win team, even with the roster, if they had to start the season today. In my opinion, they still are. And that's good enough to get to the playoffs. But they are no closer to winning a world championship. And that's truly what the goal is here. And I know Phillies fans are pissed, and they should be. But as far as Bo Bichette goes, I think we just got suckered into it, man. I think we all did. I think we all got suckered into something that no one was really even paying attention to back in November. No one even thought it was a reality back in November. We were okay with, well, I wouldn't say we were okay with. It was what it was when they re-signed Schwarber. Right? That was the big move. Again, I'm not saying I want to recant that. No one was okay with that. I certainly wasn't. But no one was thinking Bo Bichette. But yet everyone is all pissed off. Wants to run Dombrowski out of town. Rightfully so. I want him out of here too now. Because I think he's starting to panic. And that scares me because, like I told Al on Friday night, a panicky Dave Dombrowski is a scary Dave Dombrowski, because what's the next thing he's going to go after? Say the Phillies hover in that playoff contention, and they will. They will be a playoff contending team in 2026. It may not look pretty, and it may cost Rob Thompson his job at some point, but they're going to be in it at the end. I know they are. And where are they going to be, though? Say come the trade deadline, when Dombrowski, who knows his job is on the line, I mean, he's hanging by a thread. He knows he's got to go all in or go home. We got to win. What is the next resource that he is going to literally blow up in his pursuit of that ultimate title? He's going to decimate the minor leagues. You wait. It's coming, man. And the handwriting's on the wall. It's coming. He is going to attack the minor league system at some point at the end of July. Prospects like Miller, Cabrera, Escobar, players like that are going to be at the forefront. Maybe Gage Wood, maybe Dante Nori. Those types of players are going to be at the forefront of Dave Dombrowski major trade points this summer. I'm telling you, I can see the handwriting on the wall. If the Phillies are in a position where where Dave needs to bring somebody here to try to push the Phillies over the edge. And that scares me, man. It does. And this is the part of Dave Dombrowski that is scary. And I think we're entering into it right now. But as far as I'm concerned about the Bo Bichette thing, no harm, no foul. He wasn't on my radar. He wasn't on MattyB's offseason wish list. Would have been nice. Yeah, would have been real nice. I don't need him. I didn't need him. I did not need him. As far as the Kyle Tucker thing and then all the venom heading to the Dodgers, stop hating the Dodgers, man. Stop that, man. Stop it. Be jealous of the Dodgers. Be envious of the Dodgers that they have a person that can maneuver their cap around, right? And be able to pick up players like Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts, who, by the way, announced that he will retire at the end of his contract obligations with the Dodgers in 2032. I don't know why you're making an announcement that you're going to retire in 2032 in the winter of 2026, but Mookie Betts says he's done after this. After the next 7 or whatever 8 years, he's going to retire. But when you can bring in Betts, when you can bring in Ohtani, when you can bring in Freeman, and you can bring in all these great international players, Yamamoto and Sasaki and all those guys, don't get mad that they brought in friggin' Kyle Tucker. No, man, they know what they're doing. And I've been hearing a lot of this. The Dodgers are buying their world championships. Well, guess what, man? They ain't the first to try this. Remember the 90s with the Yankees? They were doing the same thing, right? Don't bitch about it. Rise above and beat them. Such a defeatist loser attitude. Yeah, you should be envious of the Dodgers. You should be jealous of the Dodgers. Should hate them because they're good, not because of how they've gotten good. All right, I don't care. I don't care how they've gotten their players. Right? Beat them. Friggin' beat them. Show them that they were wrong on the field. Who gives a damn about Ohtani's? Listen, I know the Ohtani thing. the gambling and all that. I don't know what's going on there. I'm sure he's not innocent, right? But don't be jealous of him, man. Don't hate them because of it. Just be jealous of them and beat them. So Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers, Bo Bichette to the Mets. And as far as the Mets go, the Mets can have all the hitting in the world, but they still don't got no damn pitching. And, whatever. Bo Bichette will do fine with the Mets. And we'll, of course, have a front row seat to it in our divisional matchups. Yeah. And I know he's going to get booed, and it's going to be a big story. Again, why? Why? Because we're so butthurt that he didn't choose us over the Mets? Who cares? Who absolutely cares? But there's still work to be done. And there's still players out there that can be plucked for reasonable prices. Suarez from Seattle, he's out there. Now, he's more of a power hitter. I don't really want one of those. I'm telling you, Luis Ariz, the secret is with Luis Ariz, the free agent second / shortstop / third baseman from the San Diego Padres. Bring him here. And it satisfies one of MattyB's DNA change requirements. Bat him second. Just had the graphic up. You saw how it looked. I'm telling you. And that youth movement might actually be something. I might be on to something with the youth movement. That's the only explanation I can add on to that the Phillies actually think they can run it back. I'm hanging on to this because I knew the contracts were going to be tough this offseason. I knew they had too many big-time decisions to make with too many big-time players. You had to make a decision about moving on for Kyle Schwarber and JT Realmuto, right? Schwarber would have been an easier one for me to make because of the fact that I wanted Alonso. He was more versatile. I don't think he'd be bitching and moaning about batting second or leading off. I think he's okay batting fourth. Plays first base. He's not a defensive liability. He's not a gold glover, but he's up there. You can move Harper to DH, send Schwarber on his way, whatever. And JT was just it had to happen. I don't like it. And I'm not on the JT Realmuto train, but it was something that had to happen. There was no other reason. There was no other options for the Phillies there. There were no catching prospects out there. There were no catching prospects in-house. It was a matter of trying to stall them out for a better deal, which they blew with the whole Bo Bichette thing. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. Now pivot, pick up Ariz, and let's go. Time to put up and shut up right now. So Bo Bichette chooses the Mets over the Phillies, and the world is ended. Dave Dombrowski is in the hot seat. Don't get that twisted either. I think he gets fired at the end of the year regardless. I think the only thing that saves Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson their job this year is if they win the World Series. The Phillies do have to make a change next year. I really think they do. If they don't win the World Series. And finally, and we'll find out here very soon about if that's going to happen. So the Phillies, Dave Dombrowski, Bo Bichette, Kyle Tucker, all that. Now we get to turn the page and move on and bring in Luis Ariz. Hashtag Luis Ariz. Luis Ariz in Philadelphia. 3-year deal. And as I also said, the biggest underlying story that nobody is talking about is you've shown your hand completely for your willingness and desire to move on from Alec Bohm. You showed the world that you don't want Alec Bohm here by actively pursuing Bo Bichette to the point where you got mad when he didn't get him. You've shown your hand to the world and to Alec Bohm. There's no way Alec Bohm could be part of this roster at the start of the season. There's no way. That deal has to be made. A move has to be made there. I don't know for who or for what, but Alec Bohm cannot start the season as your starting third baseman. You've shown the world that you don't want him. You've shown the world you don't want Nick Castellanos either by actually signing his replacement. So getting off of them too. And again, I know it's not as easy as I want it to be because no one obviously wants these two players, but now you got no choice. Because there's no way Alec Bohm, who's not like, again, I'm not saying I don't know Alec Bohm. I don't know him personally. But from all the reports and what we've seen, he's not the most mature person in the world. And I'm sure he's over-assessing this or obsessing over this situation wherever he is sitting in the world right now. He doesn't have the mental acuity as has been on display to handle situations like this. So you've already tipped your hand. Now you got to get rid of him. So there's at least one more move coming. And that has to be to get rid of Alec Bohm. Whatever that move is, and however they want to do it, there's one more move that's got to happen. And that's to get rid of Alec Bohm. So there you have it. There's MattyB's Bo Bichette saga in a nutshell. I'm not mad. I'm not. Absolutely not mad. I don't feel somehow, violated by this. I thought it was a very, very poor. It's been a very poor offseason. And your GM, president, whatever he is, I know he's not the GM, president of baseball operation, really took a shot this offseason. Really took it to the face a little bit. Really did. But it's not over. It hasn't even started yet. Make the move, bring in Luis Ariz, trade Alec Bohm, slide Stott to third, put Ariz in at second. Forget to invite Castellanos to camp, and let's move on. Let's move the hell on. So there you go. There's my take. Do you guys like that? Did I surprise you a little bit about that? I'm not calling for the head of everybody. I am calling for the head of Dombrowski. I hate him. One last point, and we're going to get into some of our segments. Again, the phone lines are open if you guys want to hop in. The link should be out in your chat rooms as we speak. So I'll release it one more time. If you like, let me do it one more time. Maybe you guys didn't get it. But the phone lines are open. And please hop on, and let's have some fun with that. But let's get into the football scene. Of course, this is our first official weekend of no Eagles football until sometime in September. That matters, at least. And I know that it's a hard pill still for a lot of people to swallow. Kevin Patullo, of course, gone, not forgotten. We will begin a couple different segments on the program starting this week. So it's the off season, and we're going to have to fill up some time talking about the Eagles. And I don't want to get into obsessing over Jalen Hurts every show for the next 8 months. I'm not doing that. I'm not talking about every friggin' 8 months about how I hate Jalen Hurts and I want him out here. I'm not going to do that. I don't have that kind of time. But I do want to introduce to you 3 new segments. And this is how it's going to roll. We are going to first, sometime this week, give our final grades to a draft class. Yes, it's time. It's time to issue out final report card markings on a draft class. Not the class of 2025. Can't do that because it's only been 1 year. Not the class of 2024. Can't do that because it's only been 2 years. We will give out on this program our final draft grades to the class of 2023. Sometime probably tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we'll probably do it because we're going to start evaluating your fraud-ass GM. And we're going to give out our final draft grades to the class of 2023 tomorrow night. Now, I know a lot of these armchair fans and armchair, like, what did I hear? It's funny because you look back on it now and you smile and you laugh. I heard, I hear it every year, but usually the day after the draft, everyone's giving Howie Roseman an A+, B-, A. Even Al does it. Even Mike, Laura. I don't do that crap, man, because you cannot assess a draft class. First of all, you cannot assess a draft class before they step on a football field in an NFL uniform. But the same people that gave the class 2025 A's and B's, when asked about it now, are giving them D's and C- because not one of them produced a damn thing or very minimal production from them this year. So we're not going to bother with the class of 2025, not for at least another 2 more years. We will give our final grades to the class of 2023 this week. And then starting probably at some point this week, we will also get into the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles storylines by position group. We're going to take a position group and we're going to talk top 3 to 4 storylines of that position group in 2025. And we're going to break down kind of where we see them going in the future, kind of a pseudo who stays and who goes type thing. We'll work that in there, but we'll do that as well. And then we'll get around to start breaking down the draft itself for 2026. As the Eagles will have the 23rd pick right now in the draft. So we'll get into all that stuff too. So Make sure you're tuned in for some Eagles postseason stuff beginning tomorrow night with the final grades of the class of 2023 here on the show. How you doing, Ryan? I wanted Rise and Bichette. Would have traded Stott and Marsh if we got Bichette. Yeah, well, I don't remember you saying that. I don't remember hearing the words Bichette out of your mouth. I'm not saying you didn't want him, and I'm not. Again, I'm coming at this from my own perspective. I honestly had no. I mean, was Bichette on my mind when he'd been nice? Absolutely, but he wasn't somebody I was banking on. I wasn't building my offseason around Bo Bichette. I wasn't, and I honestly think there's still time to save it, man. There's still time. The Rise is out there, and I like to comp Luisa Rise to sort of a younger version of Gene Segura, who's in his prime. That version of Gene Segura, not the one. And actually, the last Gene Segura we got was a pretty good version of him. That final year in 23 or 22, with that huge ass hit against the Cardinals in Game 1 of the NL wild card that saved the season. All right, but that's kind of the comp I give Luis Rise, a younger, in his prime of his career version of Gene Segura, and I want that kind of player back here. He'll fit perfectly on top of our lineup. And I really think he's a DNA changer. And I've wanted him from the very beginning. Rewind the tape. And he's still there. They can still make that happen. And reluctantly put Harper back in right field if we got Bichette and a Rise. That will never happen. And you know that as well as I do, Ryan Swope, that the Phillies would never have done that. Because Harper wouldn't have done it. Harper would not have done anything. He would not have wanted to go out in right field. And you know Rob Thompson was going to be like, okay, Bryce, I'll tell you what, I'll play right field. You manage, I'll play right field. Okay? And Harper would have been like, get your ass out in right field, you boob. I mean, it wouldn't have worked. Right? Harper's not going back out in the right field at all. So that wouldn't happen. Now, of course, that was on my list too. As this got closer and I started to believe that Bichette was going to be a Philly, I'm like, okay, where the hell do we put him? So I'm going to move him to second, put Stott at third, send Bohm to Jupiter, and then what am I going to do? Well, if we can't offload Bohm, then what do I do? I heard somebody, was it you, Papernick, talking about putting Bichette in center field or left field? I mean, I would have done it too. But that would have been interesting. Polanco, there you go. A younger in their prime version of Placido Polanco. Yeah. No, I agree with you. Right, Papernick?
Nope, I didn't say center field. I said left or right field.
You did say
and
that,
Bomb
right?
would have to go. And Bomb would go to first.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm sure it might have worked.
But you want to know what? I'm just getting on now, so I don't know what was really being said all night. But I'm going to say this: I would have loved to have Pete Alonso and then Bichette do that to us. That would have intensified the rivalry 20 times
Absolutely.
more.
That's a good point. That's an extremely good point. And of course, well, we don't know that because we decided to go after Kyle Schwarber. But no, it's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, but he's a snake in the grass, that guy. I get it. Don't get me wrong. But what he should have done was at least counter back to the Phillies and said, this is what we're getting. Do you want to go or no? He just, I'll sign it. He did the Andrew McCutcheon. Did you see the contract he offered me?
I don't know if that's what happened. I mean, I don't know if there was a back and forth at all. And again, I'm not speaking pro or against. It's just that, listen, are the Phillies antiquated about this? Are they out of date by not offering opt-outs? I mean, this is 2025 and 7 years, $200 million, take it or leave it. It sounds like a lot, but ask Bryce Harper if he regrets signing that contract 8 years ago.
Yeah, but the thing is with Bichette, what's he, 26? 27. He's in that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 7. It ain't that bad. 27 ain't that. 7 years ain't that bad. I mean, but I'm sure if
himself into $200 million, he could have maybe made more or less, but he's taking a gamble on himself. You know.
Sure. Well, listen, he's going to New York. Number one, he's getting 42 million, and then he's going to make what, another 20, 30 off the book, outside of there, and just endorsements just for being in New York.
Yep. And then he can walk away after year one.
Oh, he can? I didn't know that.
He's got opt-outs. He's got an opt-out clause in every one of the 3 years.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah, he took them for the money.
Yeah,
42 million.
There's a lot more going on there, man.
I didn't know all that now.
Yeah, he's got an opt-out for all 3 years.
All right. This has nothing to do with Eagles or Phillies. Well, I shouldn't say afterwards, but who in the hell told C.J. Stroud to throw the ball 47 times today?
D'Amico Ryans in the snow. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
that was a terrible game.
No,
for them. Stroud turtled up, man. So that was he was shaking, rattled. They should have made a move, man. Put in the backup. His eyes, he looked vacant. They lost him, man, at some point in that game.
Well, there you go. Howie's got a fish on the hook. They need a big time wide receiver out there.
There you go. There you go.
There it is. The fish is there. Howie, you just got to hook them in. And hey, you put AJ Brown on that team. I bet you they win that game.
I bet you they do. Yeah, I bet you they do. I do have to ask you this, Papernick. I thought about you last night when this went down in the Buffalo game. Okay. Was that a catch or was that an interception?
That was a catch.
That was a catch all the way.
That was a catch.
Absolutely.
That was a catch. But you want to know what? The Bills choked. This was their year to get to the Super Bowl. No Kansas City, no kryptonite, and they still couldn't do it. Everybody said Jalen had to put on his Superman cape. Well, Josh didn't put on his Superman cape last night, throwing 3-4 interceptions, a couple fumbles. I mean, if that was Jalen Hurts, he would have got crushed today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He would have got crushed. If I'm Josh Allen's got to go to them saying, you got a new stadium. You go get me AJ Brown, whatever wide receivers are available. If not, trade me.
Yeah,
that's what he has to say to them.
Trade Buffalo me. Burn last night? Did they burn the city down?
No, I'm not close to them. But I hope they did. You know
what was that? Have you heard what the fan reaction was out of Buffalo? I haven't heard
I've heard some. It's it's just. Disappointment. I haven't got out yet to, rip on any other fans because I am gonna lay the wrath of Mike on them when I'm done. When I get to the bar next weekend, they all see me because that night that they played the Eagles, I was out. I was hoping they lost the game, the Eagles, because I was going to look at every Buffalo Bill fan, tell them to go outside and have your parade now because that's the only parade you're having. There ain't going to be one in February.
Well, you're right about that.
I'll tell you, the Bills have next year to get it because I don't think the Chiefs are going to be in the playoffs next year because I don't think Pat Mahomes is going to play. If they're smart, Pat Mahomes don't play at all next year. I don't think he is. They're going to gear up for the year afterwards. So the Bills have a window, a very small window to get back there. But, yeah, I don't feel no sympathy for the Bills. I don't feel no sympathy for the 49ers and the whining them fans did a couple years ago because they said we had an easy schedule. Well, when we went to the Super Bowl loss, well, it was because we had the schedule from the year before when we weren't that good. I mean, Hey, and don't cry that your quarterback got knocked out because you put a third string tight end on Reddick. Kyle Shanahan, the genius over there, who outcoached Vic Fangio last week, got his ass handed to him yesterday.
He most certainly did. That was the worst game of the weekend.
I wanted Houston to win the Super Bowl. I won, but I hope it's Seattle or Chicago. I feel bad for Denver, but I hope Seattle or Chicago because all I heard say in that New England game is, oh, it could be a dynasty is back with New England. I'm done. I'm tired with that. I'm tired. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were saying how they're back, and I'm like, this is horrible. Like look. I had to live for 20 years of the ESPN and Aaron Rodgers documentary every Sunday and Monday night when he was on. Because but I don't want to deal with this New England stuff.
I don't think it's a dynasty. Drake May is a good quarterback, and they got a good young team. But this has been a wonky season, and I don't know if this is what the NFL is now with the parity. I don't know if this is the norm or just was the way it just broke this year. I don't think the Chiefs are done. I don't think the Bills are done. They're going to break through. The Bills are going to break through. Joe Burrow's coming back. They're going to put an offense around him eventually. Things are going to regulate, I think, next year, and I really do believe that.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow is the only quarterback in the last 5 years to beat Pat Mahomes in a playoff game and the Chiefs. Now, to go back to what you were saying just a second ago, I hope Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl. You know why? Because all he's done in 2 years is won 28 games. Said he don't show up in big games. Well, they showed up last night. I hope he wins the Super Bowl and shuts everybody up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be. Listen, I'm enjoying this sort of weird season as it comes down to an end. I like the teams that are still left. I think next weekend's going to be some good games. And you're right, Bo Nix and breaking the ankle. That's a shame. That's a good young quarterback. But we've seen it firsthand. Backup quarterbacks can do it. So, I mean.
No. This guy's this is his 5th game he's going to be playing.
Yeah, I know.
Ever. and he's never played a playoff game. They are going to get smoked next week.
Oh.
I'm telling you, if they make the Super Bowl, they're going to get doesn't make a difference. They're done, and I feel bad for that team. I do. I felt bad for Daniel Jones, and I feel bad for that team.
Yep. All right, Peppernick.
We'll talk you have tomorrow. A good night.
Yep.
All right.
Michael Peppernick, man, dropping some truth again, as he always does. Nina Mullen checks in and says, yes, we are offering Super Bowl squares. If you want a Super Bowl square for only $20, which, of course, this is violating a couple laws. Thanks a lot, babe. But if you want a Super Bowl square, contact Nina Mullen, E6Z. That means easy Nina Mullen. Contact her, and she'll square you away with some Super Bowl squares. Is that what am I supposed to do with this? I didn't know that. But anyway, contact Nina Mullen at E6Z on YouTube. All right, $20 a square. I got me one. Star says the Rams are winning this. What's it now? It's 17-17. Oh, it's over. Man, overtime. Another overtime game. Nick Foles did it. Yes, he did. Wow. Yes. Contact Nina for the Super Bowl squares. $20 a square. All right. Let's transition now. And yes, real quick, the Bears and Rams are in overtime, 17-17. They're capping off an amazing weekend of football. And yes, the Bo Nix situation last night against Buffalo, it was a catch. I agree. That's hard, especially when there's no available booth review. They may have to. There may have to be a challenge it put into overtime, at least one. They may have to do that. I mean, come on. I don't necessarily think you should be mad at the officials on this. I think you should be mad at the league. You should have at least one challenge in overtime. You should. Absolutely. Take away something else, but put a challenge in for every team in overtime. I mean, come on. You would have a better – I'm not saying it would have changed anything, but you at least would have had the league review right there, and they could have made an assessment to that. But as far as I'm concerned, I think it was a catch, and I don't think it was an interception. So we had that game. You had the blowout last night between San Francisco and Seattle, and how's that make you Eagle? How's that make Eagle fans feel? Seattle went and took apart the damn 49ers, and Sam Darnold was moving on to the championship game. Then you got the game today, earlier between Houston and New England, that C.J. Stroud, maybe it was the cold, the snow, I don't know, but he got his first taste of high playoff drama and totally turtled up. And then you got the game going on right now, which is coming down to the end here between the Rams and the Bears. This is amazing. I know parity sucks and all the heavy hitters are not there, but this could be something. Is this what the NFL is now? Is like I asked Kaepernick, are we trending towards this type of seasons every year with a parity type situation? Or is this an anomaly where all the big heavy hitters are not involved? But if this is the way it's going to be, then teams like the Eagles and the Chiefs, I mean, they got to be put on notice. You either adapt or die. And but it's been great to see this, and I really think it's going to be a good championship weekend. Whoever makes it through for the NFC, and then of course between the Broncos with Nick Foles starting quarterback now, Stidham, what's his name? It's going to be their starter, and the Patriots and the new Tom Brady, which Drake May is a good quarterback, very good quarterback. Yeah, I ain't ready to give back the Patriot dynasty crap again. No, not yet, not yet. Jose says we're declaring war on the Mets. Bichette was supposed to be our guy. He's going to get drilled. Why? Why are you going to blame? First of all, there's no pitcher out there that's going to drill him. There's no way. They're going to be giving him an attaboy. Come on, man. Those players are going to be like, you're the man. You the man. You got paid on a year-to-year contract at your disposal? Hell, I want to be you. All right, let's move on to our of the night segment. So we're getting through the show here. Of the night. All right. Yes. So tonight, like we talked about at the top of the show, we have come to the end of our Flyers prospects. That's it. Tonight's it. All right, we're going to do one more. He is our final Flyer prospect of the season, unless, of course, the Flyers go out and add any more prospects between now and the end of the season. But we are done. We have reached the end. I've gone through every single Flyer prospect in the organization. Everybody that's under either controlled by the organization or signed as a prospect, I have talked about on this program since October. And tonight, we're going to wrap it up. And yes, breaking the Los Angeles Rams are moving on to face the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. So we got Seahawks, Rams, Patriots, Broncos. I think the stage is set for Rams, Patriots, Super Bowl 60. That's my prediction. Rams, Patriots, Super Bowl 60. So congratulations to the Rams, Seahawks, the Broncos, and the New England Patriots for advancing into the Final Four of the NFL in 2025. Just went final a couple seconds ago. The Rams beat the Bears in overtime, 20-17. All right, back to our Flyer prospect. Tonight's it. We have made it to the end, and we saved one of the better prospects for the last prospect. What was that for? Are you? It's a joke. All right. Anyway, I'm on the air right now. Yes. So that the 20. You want to come up here and tell them? No, you can. Please. Actually, yes. Come on, please. My viewers. I don't want. Come on. Have a seat. Just tell them. Here.
Hi, everybody. Mrs. MattyB here. Just looking for you guys to buy a square for $20 for the Super Bowl. It does support children's sports. This is not my thing. And my son is on a team that is 100% sponsorship. There's no fees, anything like that. It's a travel team. East Coast Dynasty is the name of it. It's on Facebook. If you'd like to participate, reach out to me, not Matt. I am on Facebook under Nina Benarchek. You can Venmo me at Nina Benarchek 22. You can contact Matty for any of the information. We're just looking to raise some money for children. I kind of like this. Okay. He said I got to go.
All right, we got that out the way. All right, here we go. Back to what I was talking about. Flyers prospects. Yeah, help us out. I mean, we're youth sports. They're a bear. You guys know that. They're expensive, and there's an opportunity for my stepson to get some higher level baseball competition this summer, and so they're trying to raise money through sponsorship. So help us out. Papernick says the Rams win. They do. But all right, back to the Flyer prospect and our final one of the season. Again, unless the Flyers add a prospect between now and then. And we saved one of the better ones for last. And he is definitely the future, or part of the future of this organization, especially these days with our defensive problems, as we sort of are seeing that we have massive problems on our blue line. And that is Mr. Oliver Bonk, who I fully believe, even though this is his first year of professional, hockey after coming up from juniors last season. Oliver Bonk will be wearing orange and black at some point in 2025-26. I definitely believe that's going to happen. He is the right-hand defenseman, of course, that unicorn guy that we like. This was when he played with London last year, but of course he's with the Phantoms now. He's 6'2", 179. He was a first-round pick in 2023. It's time. As I said, I firmly believe he'll be a Flyer by the end of the year. A prototypical shutdown defenseman. Bonk safeguards his team by back-checking ahead of offensive turnovers, blocks access to the defensive zone, forces opponents to dump the puck around him, and then steals the puck from them on the way back. He pushes attackers wide to the defensive zone. So Bonk, hopefully, is what we're looking for to help us out defensively. The Flyer defense is atrocious right now. There's really nothing with the exception of, and I hate to say this, I mean, right now the biggest hope or the brightest stars on that defensive unit are friggin' Nick Seeler and Jamie Drysdale. And that's saying a lot. Yeah, Travis Sanheim is garbage, in my opinion. Ristolainen, waste of money. Emil Andre, about to get rid of him. Cam York, I'm really getting to the end of my Cam York support here. He really needed to have a big season this year to win me back, and he has not had one. He's actually maybe regressed a little bit from a bad start or from a bad season last year. So Oliver Bonk, just out of sheer attrition, should be getting a look at here real soon. I'm not saying he's ready, but the Flyers really need to start seeing what he can do at this level to help us out. So Oliver Bonk, definitely part of the future plans of the Philadelphia Flyers. If not this year, then definitely next year. He is our final Flyer prospect of the night, barring, of course, the Flyers acquiring any more prospects. We have done them all. If they're under Flyers control or signed and playing at any level of our minor leagues, we've gone through them. So now let's move on to NHL draft and Philly spotlight players. But there you have it. Our player of the night, our Flyer prospect of the night, former first-round pick in 2023, Mr. Oliver Bonk. And that segment and the call-in segment and my wife's appearance here on the show were all sponsored and brought to you by, not that, we already did that one. Let's do the AM Philly Sports, or the Philly AM Sports Show with Mike Laro and Big Al Zafiri every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. If you need to get your day started right, and I mean right, with a good old shot of Homerade, well, look no further than the Philly AM Sports Show, because that's where all homers look to start their day off right. If delusionality is your way, if living in some sort of fantasy land where the it factor rules your judgment, then the Philly AM Sports Show is definitely for you. Every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, where Big Al and Big Mike will be your big hosts through your Philly Homer morning as they prepare you to be in denial about everything in Philly sports, at least for that day. Don't forget, that is the Philly AM Sports Show every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. And that's going to bring me to my final segment of the night, my favorite segment of every night. Well, let's go. Yep. It is the MattyB card review. Having a poker game in here. The card review segment. So last week was a lot of 2025 stuff, and we seem to have been stuck on a couple of types of cards last week. It was the insert, the parallels, the some of the ones that we did. Bleacher Reachers, we did a few of them. We did a couple others last week that were parallels, mainly 2025 cards. I think we did a bunch of refractors. Well, we're going old school tonight. I'm going back to the actual, depending on where you come out on this coin, I think, experts have argued this point for a few years. When did the actual wax pack era end? And when did this digital stuff start? A lot of people point to this year that I'm going to talk about, the set of cards from this year that we're going to discuss, that was the first year. And you know what? Yeah, now that I think back to this year, or the year that we're going to talk about, they might be right. We're going back to 1991, and we're going to talk Score baseball cards. That's right, man. We're going to talk about a defunct baseball card company. And Score 91, this was a first-round draft pick card at one of their inserts from that year, and it featured a future Philly. And I think, honestly, and if you're asking me, the best Phillies catcher of all times. And unfortunately, he was washed under a bunch of bad baseball teams throughout his career. And that is Mike Lieberthal. And this is his first-round draft pick card from 91 Score. Again, experts argue that 1991, across the spectrum of sports cards and baseball cards, Topps, Fleer, Donruss, Score, Bowman, all the cards that were being produced in 91, that this was the first year of the actual digital print away from the wax pack type of era. I thought it was later on in the 90s personally, but the more I look at the cards from 91, and that's from all these companies, and the more that I've researched this, the more opinions I'm hearing that is a correct statement. But this card is, of course, one of my favorite. Now, I know I will never, ever have a baseball card. And I know that is a bucket list thing. It's one of the perks of being a sports player, that you get your own sports card. And it's something you'll never forget. And if I were a player, and I don't care if I ever played, if I only had one game at the major league level or the NHL level, NFL level, NBA, whatever level I was in. But the minute somebody produced a sports card of me, I'd buy about 1 million of them. I would have every single one. So it's a very special thing, a very special moment for these guys when they get their own card, and rightfully so. It's awesome. And I know that beggars can't be choosers sometimes, especially a first-round draft pick who doesn't know anything. But I don't know if Mike Lieberthal looks at this card and looks at it and says, you know what, this is a really cool card. It's kind of I don't know who was in charge of the photo shoot that day. I don't know whose idea it was to put him in catcher's gear and then take this picture and then produce it as a card. I don't know how proud he is of it. He ended up having a pretty damn good career and had multiple cards, but I don't know how he looks upon this card. I would love to ask him one day what your opinion is of this card, but it's one of my favorites. It's card number 683 of the 91 Score set. Again, it has a lot of digital tones to it. It might be one of the first ones. I don't know. Pretty worthless. Depending on where you're looking at it. I found this as a PSA 10. Someone's selling it for $115 as a PSA 10. Saw it also for about $1 as a raw card, and about $3 as a raw card. So it kind of goes up and down on the spectrum. This is probably definitely one of those cards that is a buyer, a buyer friendly card. Like someone's going to really want this card, or they're not, And again, for my dollars and donuts, I think he's the best catcher in Phillies history. I honestly do. He gets forgotten because of when he played and what teams he played for. But Lieberthal was a really good catcher. And if I had a Mike Lieberthal now, I sure as hell wouldn't need a 3-year, $45 million JT Realmuto. But here is our card tonight. May or may not be one of the first digital set cards put out, and that ushered out the end of the wax pack era. Depending on what side of the coin you come on, it is a digital print. It is not a wax pack card. It doesn't have that graininess to it. There was no gum in the 91 Score, and that was sort of one of the first things that they did away with when it came to going from wax to digital. And of course, it's a digital card. It is a digital picture. But there's some sets that came in after that, like I think 93, Topps was still wax. Now, Topps is credited of being the first digital card company, or the first card company to go digital. So I don't know. But it's a hard argument. Just like the argument about what's Mark McGwire's rookie card. Is it the 87 Topps, or is it the 85 USA Baseball? Back and forth about what McGwire's rookie card is, depending on who you talk to. So here we go. Mike Lieberthal's first round draft pick from 91 Score, card number 683. One of my favorite cards, and of course, my all-time favorite catcher in Phillies history. And there you have it, MattyB's card review of Mike Lieberthal in that terrible photo in catcher's gear. I mean, when you're a kid that's being drafted, I guess, what do you know? You might as well just do it the way you can. real quick, do you think any Phillies make it to the Hall of Fame? The announcement is Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, the 20th, Tuesday. If you're asking me where I realistically think, Jose, yes, I think Chase Utley gets in. I do. If you're asking me through fantasy and Homer glasses, Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins get in. And if you're asking me from the standpoint that the Eagles got eliminated from the playoffs, we lost out on Bo Bichette, then no. No Phillies get in. So to kind of keep with the flavor, right? But honestly, if Chase does not make it this year, he is a lock in 2027. A lock. Then it'd be time to focus our attention on Jimmy Rollins. But I don't think Jimmy gets in this year. And to be honest with you, I'm sort of up in the air. He was at about 68% last week of the rough vote. You need 75 to get in. He was at 68 last week. I don't know. I would love it. You have no idea how much I would love this. But if he doesn't get in, he gets in next year. Jimmy Rollins is not getting in this year. We can start having this conversation about Jimmy next year, about making moves up the ballot. He eventually will get in, if not in 27, but 28. It's happening. It's going to happen, and rightfully so for some of these players from the 08 era of Phillies baseball. They belong there. Chase Utley belongs in the Hall of Fame. He's the best second baseman that's ever played here. And honestly, and I know the career, the injuries cut about 5 or 6 competitive years off his life. I get that. But if he had not gotten hurt, and I know this, you honestly, it's hard to sit here because I'll throw anybody under the bus for doing this to other players. But when it comes to Utley, you can't argue if he had not gotten hurt, if those knees would have not held out, he would have been on his way to having a Ryan Sandberg career. He was already on his way to having a Ryan Sandberg career. And it was the injuries that shut him down. An absolute legend at the position here. It's a travesty that his number's not already retired by the Phillies, that they're waiting on this stupid rule of only retiring numbers of Hall of Famers. It's dumb. But he belongs. His 26, 11, and 6 should have been retired by the Phillies already, to give homage to that 08 era of Phillies baseball. There's just no questioning that. And the Hall of Fame or no Hall of Fame, those numbers should have been retired by the Phillies. And it's a shame that they're not. And I hope that starting this summer, we can start retiring those numbers. So, yes, I hope, and I think, fingers are crossed, we need this, right? Do we not need this right now? We need Chase Utley to make it to the Hall of Fame. Soften some of this crap, man. Make us feel good about our Philadelphia sports again. Chase Utley is going to be the great redeemer. He's going to save us all by getting elected into the Hall of Fame on Tuesday. Oh, cool. You're still on. I had to watch. It was a good game, wasn't it? Jason Stark said Rollins might never make it. I don't know. I think they said the same thing about Utley 2 years ago. And now he's literally about 7% shy of a rough count vote of getting in. Never say never, Barbara. But I hear you. Best shortstop in Phillies history. How does he rate in MLB history as shortstops? Tough group there at shortstop. Is he top 10 in MLB? Is he top 100? He's definitely top 100. Is he top 20? You know what? I can make an argument for 10. Right? 10th overall. Best ever to play the game. I think there's a definite argument there to be made. Now, Utley, I can make an argument top 5 second baseman all time. Easy. All right. Jason Stark said, I agree. I wouldn't vote for Hamels either. He don't serve no Hall of Fame honors. No. Hamels was the 80s Larry Christensen team player. That's who he was. Hamels had nothing, man. Hamels was a great story for the first 5 years of his career, but then fell apart, man. Fell apart. Hamels should go into the Phillies Wall of Fame. Not have his number retired, but not Hall of Fame. I love Jimmy's speed running at base. Jimmy was the greatest, man. Best shortstop ever to play here. Top 10 all time there, Jose. What do you think? Top 10 all time ever in baseball. Not Phillies, baseball. I think you can make that argument. Let's bring on Joe Hale real quick. Get in under the wire. Joe, how you doing?
I'm great. Besides, just got off the phone with Ricky's mom. I'm good.
Is this something you want to talk about or no?
Yeah.
You don't have to. If you don't want to reveal any sensitive information, don't do it.
He had a call, block.
Okay. Joe fell off. Listen, Ricky Dielsen had surgery on Saturday, so please send thoughts and prayers to him and his family. Maybe even Joe Hops, if he comes back on, maybe we'll talk more about it. But yeah, Ricky, I guess, is not doing too well. Please send your thoughts and prayers. Joe, listen, you don't have to tell me if you don't feel comfortable. I'm not gonna. Don't put the information out over the public airwaves if it's not.
He had a blockage in his stomach.
Okay, and good news, bad news? How's he doing?
They got it removed.
Outstanding. Congratulations, Ricky. Ricky Deal, if you listen in, brother, and please, Joe, pass this on to him. We all send our best.
I want to talk Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. He's on here every night, Barbara. It's right when he's not here.
It's going to be Carlos Beltran.
He's a deadlock.
I don't know why Beltran gets in for the gambling.
Yeah, he's a deadlock. He's got like 90% of the vote right now.
So the last I seen, Chase Utley was at 70%.
Oh, so you had him at 70. I saw something where he was 75.
Who, Utley?
No, that's right. 70. You need 75 to get in. He was at 70. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So he gets in. But
I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm not jinxing it, man. I want him to get in. I'm not jinxing it.
You said top. I would go top 5 for Utley.
In history of baseball?
Yes.
Okay.
But I would put Sandberg in front of him and Boa.
Boa was a shortstop.
Boa played a little bit of second base, though.
But his primary position was short. Sandberg's number one. Second base wasn't really a sexy position in the modern era. Back in the day it was, but not in the modern era.
I have a good Lieberfall story. I went to the scrimmage game last year, the Phillies inter-squad game, when they're getting ready for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And he was walking around giving out those cards that you had. And he said...
Giving out this card right here?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. He told me that it's worth $50.
Different prices. I didn't see 50. I saw a PSA 10, 115. Somebody was selling it for.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think I'd pay $50 for this card, but it's a cool card.
It was him and Rico Bronia.
Okay.
Oh.
I think it's a cool card, but I mean, it's sort of an embarrassment. Look at that. I don't know why you would pose for this in your full catcher's gear like that. I can see an action shot during a game, but this is a staged. It's kind of weird.
It's supposed to be an action shot, and the photo guy, they messed it up.
So that was taken during a real game?
Yeah.
He looks like he's about 14 years old in this picture, right?
He was young. So Stefanski got the job.
Yep, in Atlanta.
Harbaugh is going to suck in New York.
I don't know.
And the Eagles are going to get who?
McDaniel.
No, it's either McDaniel or Kafka.
McDaniel's coming here. I'm telling you. He's going to come here, and he's going to create all kinds of stuff because he's not going to listen to Sirianni, and he's going to clash with Jalen Hurts. So I'm telling you.
I read a report that the Giants head coach from last year, well, if he comes, they trade Jalen Hurts and bring him Tua.
Yeah. God, why would you do that, man? Ugh.
I don't know.
Ugh.
So.
Well, and that's another thing. All this Brian Dable love about bringing him here. He's part of the staff that benched Jalen Hurts in the championship game. You guys do remember that, right? I know I'm not saying he benched him, but he was part of that decision to bench him. I don't know where everyone's all rallying around Brian Dable for. I really don't.
I wonder if McDermott gets fired now.
I don't think so. I don't. You know what? That game was such a that was a great game last night. It was probably one of the best football games of the season that I've seen.
Tell you what one. this game was good too.
Yeah, it was a good game. But last night's game was really good. It was fun, And Josh Allen, for all the hate he gets, to turn the football over 5 times and still be in that position to win it, says a lot about Josh Allen and not much about the skill level of the Buffalo Bill wide receivers.
What do you think of that call in overtime?
It was a catch, 100% a catch.
No, the interception
was a catch, 100% a catch.
I agree.
It was a catch.
What
really pisses me off is the overtime rule of no challenges, no booth review challenges.
Josh Allen's rule. He asked for that.
Every coach should have one booth review, one challenge per overtime. There should be one.
Maybe they'll do it in a new CBA.
They should do it.
Just like MLB's going with a salary cap. It has to be.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if they can avoid it. I hate this. I hate this part about baseball. I remember in 22 when they got it done, and we lost about a week of the season, but they were able to make it all up because they took away days off and programmed doubleheaders and all that. I just hate the fact that it's going to cost baseball games and it's going to cost a portion of the season, and it's going to. I hate this part of baseball. I really do.
So, JT has an opt-out of 2 years, apparent in that contract.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So. And Bo Bichette has an opt-out of a year.
Every year of his contract, he has an opt-out. Every single year. So. But, yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know if you heard the rant about Bo Bichette. I would have liked to have had him here. I would, but he was not on my radar. He was not part of my off-season plan. Now, they have an opportunity to still go after Luis Ariz, and they still have an opportunity to bring him here. And you got to get rid of Bohm. You got to get rid of Castellanos. You've already told the world that you don't want Bohm. And Bohm has got maturity problems to begin with, so he can't be here anymore. He has to go.
Where does Bellinger go?
Yankees probably back to the Yankees, I would say.
They don't want him. They don't want to overpay for him.
I don't know about that, but if he doesn't go to the Yankees, he might go to the Mets. I don't know. I don't know.
That's all I have. I'll be on tomorrow.
All right, good. And let Ricky know if you see him that we all send our love. Okay.
Actually, this coming week, I'm going to stop up at the hospital.
Well, please tell him that we're all thinking about him, and bring him a computer so he can watch the show.
He has his phone.
There you go. Oh, Ricky watched the show.
They don't get it in a hospital. That's everything.
Oh, really? Isn't okay? Well, pass on our good news, our good thoughts and prayers.
Good news. I got you.
All right, man. All right, Joe Hell. Barbara checks in with Josh's team isn't very good. I've always rooted for him. I do too. And all these talk about what's the big Jalen Hurts rally cry that, everyone says that Josh Allen could win with the Eagles because of the team. Yeah, of course he could. Josh Allen will be winning Super Bowls left and right with the Philadelphia Eagles. Left and right. Absolutely. And Jalen Hurts would not be winning with the Buffalo Bills because of the talent of the team. Again, I don't want to. I want to go one show without talking really about Jalen Hurts. But tomorrow, we will begin our offseason plan. Our first step in the offseason of the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles is to provide a final draft grade to the class of 2023. That's right. I don't grade draft classes after one season. I grade them after 3. And now we are officially at the point where we can lay down our final grades on the class of 23 of the Eagles draft. Once we do that, we'll move on to our top storylines by position group of the season. We'll start with the offensive line and work our way around the team. Talk about players and what the top storylines from that position group was, who's coming and who's staying, where do they go, and all that. And then we'll end it all as we start breaking down the 2026 NFL draft for the Eagles. So the offseason is fully underway here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network and on the Final Word, as we'll start turning our attention to 2026. Starting tomorrow when we give out final grades to the Philadelphia Eagle draft class of 23. That should be fun. All right, that's probably going to do it for me tonight. You're right. I agree. Yeah, I think that's an absolute statement. It's a true statement, Barbara, about Jalen Hurts. All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank my wife for hopping on. showing the skills there of being a broadcaster. And if you are interested in that, just contact her at Nina Benarchek at yahoo.com on Facebook. on Facebook. And she'll get you squared away. All right. Literally get you squared away. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. We'll be back tomorrow night. Don't forget, on the network, you have 7:00 Philadelphia or Pittsburgh Sports Desk. Barbara says, hi, Mrs. Matty. Hey. Who was the 23? I think no, it was it. Yeah. Class of 23 was not Jalen Carter. Class of 23 was Davis. All right. You know what? We'll give it a little preview of the class of 23. All right. Here we go, Barbara. Here are the players we're going to be talking about tomorrow night. Yeah, it is Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter. Yeah, Jordan Davis was in 24. Hey, when was Jordan Davis taken? Jordan Davis was 22. Oh my God. I'm getting old. Class of 23 was Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Tyler Steen, Sidney Brown, Keely Ringo, Tanner McKee, and Moro Ojomo. That is the draft class we'll be providing final grades for tomorrow. Should be fun. Should be fun. And yes, hi, Mrs. Matty. I'll pass that on to her, Barbara. She'd like to hear that. All right. Well, listen, guys, have a great night. We'll talk tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your night. Please stay warm. It's freezing outside, and we'll see you tomorrow night.